Not the sports news is Romy Titus and her guests covering the world of sport from football to athletics, cricket, rugby, UFC and Dambe wrestling live weekdays on omniaudio.africa 8:30 a.m. Central African Time. Romy Titus is South Africa's leading face and voice on all the sports stories you want to hear about and talk about, also live on TikTok, YouTube and Facebook at Omni Audio Africa.
The big question is, who deserves to be named the player of the season? Is it possibly Ribiero or the young man himself, Rele Mofokeng? Of course, everybody saw it yesterday, the nominations for the PSL Awards. We had to wait for Sundowns to play at the Club World Cup before we got the nominations. Hey, some might say it was worth the wait. Some might say it was not worth the wait. That's the big talking point this morning on Not the Sports News. It is Discussion Wednesdays, and we are talking about the man that will be named the player of the season. Of course, this week seems to be a good one for Kaizer Chiefs. Dr. Motaung being honored for his achievements in the world of commerce, but also Kaizer Chiefs out in the Netherlands. They seem to be turning the ship around. They lost their first 3 warm-up matches, but last night they got a positive result. So to chat about all of these, I've brought in the best football journalist in South Africa. His name is Brajakes, a man that you know all too well right here on Omni Audio Africa. He's of course the host of Inside SA Soccer. Brajakes, you doing well?
I'm good, thank you. You woke me up too early. Thank you for having me. I'm good, thank you.
We had to bring in the big guns to discuss important matters. Before we go through the nominees, I'd like to talk about Dr. Motaung receiving his second honorary doctorate. Of course, he received the first one a few years ago, but yesterday Wits honored him with a doctorate in commerce, given what he's achieved in the world of business. We know that Pito has a doctorate as well. Rassie Rasmus received one last year from the University of the Western Cape, Bika, as some would call it. Yeah. What is the significance of an honorary doctorate, and is it actually important?
Look, I think the universities really mean well. When you look at a lot of these people who get given the honorary doctorates, there are people who've made a huge impact in society. If you talk about Brake, arguably the best football administrator or club owner in the world. I mean, Kaizer Chiefs are the biggest football brand, not only in football, but Kaizer Chiefs are huge. I agree that he's worthy of this doctorate. They call it a doctorate in commerce. The first one he got was at UCT, and they said social sciences. So when you think of it, what Kaizer Motaung has done with Kaizer Chiefs, it's changed a lot of lives. Players come through, given their talent, and through Kaizer Chiefs, they become somebody's, their lives change. So that's very good. Commercially, Kaizer Chiefs are a huge brand. It's a business. I mean, I had part of his speech yesterday when he was accepting the doctorate, and he spoke about that, just how the club has become just a business. There was a time, actually, if you remember, when Kaizer Chiefs was listed on the stock exchange.
Yes.
That talks to just what the man has done. So I think it's really worth Brake being honored. I for one, though, look at it in a different way. They call it doctorate, and that's what it is. My beef is a little bit like, when you think about doctorate, people who get doctorate, who study for doctors study for about 7 years. People who get PhDs study, it's so much. I struggle to call them doctors when they've got it this way.
Yeah.
It's just who I am. I'm not against people being honored. I wish there was a different way to honor them and not call them doctors, because I just think doctor is you're either a medical doctor or somebody who went and worked very, very hard. I'm not saying these men and women didn't work very hard, but well done to Brake. I think his contribution to South African football is immense. All of us know Kaizer Chiefs, and it's not just Kaizer Chiefs. We look at Kaizer Chiefs, that's his baby, that's what he's done. But we have the PSL because of his vision, and of course with Evan Khoza and the other people. Brakey, they formed professional football. The reason we have professional football in South Africa is because of a man like him who actually went to the States way back in the 60s, came back and formed Kaizer Chiefs, and they became this professional club that everybody wanted to follow. So he is worthy of every honor that he gets. I just say, as I've said earlier, the doctor thing is just something that I would wish we found a different way to do it, but that's how it's done in this country. And congratulations to Brakey.
It feels a little bit uncomfortable, you say, and that's perfectly understandable. In terms of our social media platforms, I would love for you to interact with us. We are live on every single platform you can think of. We're live on TikTok, we're live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Please feel free to join the conversations, especially the Kaizer Chiefs supporters. But Jake's Kaizer Chiefs are smiling from ear to ear. They had a little bit of a shaky start out in the Netherlands, winning 1-0 yesterday against FC Zawole. Your analysis of that performance, because they were struggling.
They say Amakhosi Ajabulile.
Yes.
it's look, I mean, it's pre-season. For me, I've been in football for a long time. Pre-season is just clubs and coaches trying combinations. The results are not really that big. You can lose all your preseason matches, come into the season and become champions because you've worked on all those things. So, but when you get that win, it just lifts your spirit a bit. And I watched that match. Chiefs played very well. The coach, as he's been doing since they got to the Netherlands, switches teams, changes players. Even at halftime, he'll bring in a raft about 6-7 players. But Chiefs played well. They knocked the ball around. They looked solid. Once they've scored, I mean, PEC Zwolle is not a poor team. They had their chances. But for Chiefs to be able to hold on and win, I think it's good. It just lifts their confidence ahead of the new season that's coming up. They still have another match. They're playing again today. They're playing against FC 20. If they win that, then they come back. They're playing in the Toyota Cup against Asante Kotoko. Now, those are the tournaments where now, look, in Holland, the Chiefs fans will watch on. I mean, I watched, there was about 93,000 people watching that streaming. That's just how big Kaizer Chiefs are. But I think the fans will want Chiefs to win the Toyota Cup. And I think this win from last night, and if they win today, it will give them the confidence going into that. But I think the good thing is Coach Nabi is testing the new players, and there seem to be some of them. Look, what I saw yesterday, though, was that the fans were not happy with Flavio Silva, the new striker from, they say he's from Portugal, but born in Guinea-Bissau. I saw a lot of them commenting, take him off. We don't want this Flavio. So, but that's Kaizer Chiefs fans for you. And I think Flavio will settle in, and eventually they will get to see. So Naledi Hlongwane scored that goal, and I think he's endearing himself to the Chiefs fans.
After that victory, some Kaizer Chiefs fans are saying, bring PSG, bring Chelsea. What do you say, Brajit? Kaizer Chiefs fans are always busy on the socials.
They are listen, I mean, that's why Kaizer Chiefs is the biggest club in the land. And I mean, in his speech, Dr. Mutaungi here, I'm joining the bandwagon. I guess he is doctor. He said Kaizer Chiefs are like, what did he call it? The happiness index of South Africa.
Oh, yes.
When the country is in doom and gloom and Chiefs are not winning, you feel it. But he says Chiefs had not won a trophy in 10 years. When they won the Nedbank Cup, he says you could feel that South Africa is happy. And in a way, he's right, because they have the biggest fan base in the country. And you know them, they take their football very seriously. They can be very grumpy when they are not winning. So when they are winning, it's fairly nice. You know, you're not going to have people in the traffic who are angry. So that's good.
They say when Kaizer Chiefs is winning, the stock prices even go up. They control the economy, as Thor would say.
That's how big they are.
Let's move on to the PSL Awards nominees. First up, the big prize. We have to talk about the footballer of the season. Now, before we go through the nominees, I think it's just important for us to add context as to what is the difference between the Betway Premiership Player of the Season and the football of the season.
Yeah.
You know, because I believe that the one you look at all competitions, and the other you specifically look at the PSL.
I think that's my understanding of it. And that's so the football of the season one, it's that big one that's voted for by the coaches. And I think they look at a player's performance throughout. That's the PSL, that's the league, the Betway Premiership. and then they consider how you've done in the MTN 8, in the Culling Knockout, as well as the Nedbank Cup. So it's you are the best of the best if you win that one. It's the big one, yes.
Let's start off with the Betway Premiership Player of the season. Right? Before we get to the big one, we'll save the big one for last. For last.
Okay, makes
you know,
sense.
when we wrap up the show.
Which is how they'll do. I think, look, the one thing that I look at this, they announced that the awards are going to take place when the 29th, Tuesday, but it looks like it's going to be virtually yet again, which for me it's a pity.
It's not COVID times. Why is it virtually?
I don't know. It's the PSL. They'll tell us and explain. But yeah, it looks like it. We haven't received invitations to go and clean up our tuxedos yet. So I think, yeah, it will stay in the wardrobe gathering dust.
Let's start off with the player of the season. First up, Ribiero Costa. Your analysis of his performance this season before we get to the other nominees.
I think that guy was just phenomenal. Besides the skills, besides the talent that is there, he's a very intelligent player. You watch Sundowns and you know that, there'll be times when you don't even see him, and then the moment he gets a ball, he does something that's just ridiculous. He can either score from just an incredible angle, whether he shoots or he dinks the ball in, or he can make a pass that like very few players would make. He runs into scoring areas, he creates. I think he is worthy of that. We've almost, over the years, we've imported players from outside, these top countries, but some of them, are iffy-ish. He's the kind of player that look, Brazil is a country of great talent, and it's a pity he can't get in. But I think if he had been a little younger, there was actually a call for South Africa to naturalize him and play for our country, and I know coach Hugo Bruce is anti that, and he's the big man in charge. But he's that kind of player that if he had come to South Africa early on, and people would say, let's make him South African, and I would say so, very worthy of that nomination.
Rele Mofokeng. Orlando Pirates fans will tell you all about him. They're asking questions as to should he go overseas, should he not go overseas. But the season that he had in the PSL, specifically the Betway Premiership.
Yeah, look, for one so young, he's 20. Sometimes we say 20 is young, 20 is not. But I do not remember unless, until I think you think Jomosono did that. Braje was like, back then he was not even Braje. He's one of those who started at Pirates when he was a teen. And for this young man to do that, carry a club as big. You see the thing with playing football is you can have the talent and all that, but the pressure that comes from playing for an Orlando Pirates or the Kaizer Chiefs is huge. We've seen grown men who came from other clubs getting to Pirates and just not making it because it's that jersey is that heavy. You look at who came before you, but this young man it's like he plays with, what do you call it? It's like abandon. It's like he's playing challenge on the street.
Plays with confidence and flame.
And yeah, but like the weight is not even there. He's still like Usaliko, school of excellence, just having fun with his, and that's the beauty about him. Rele has grown as a player this year. I did an interview with one of his former coaches who felt he doesn't score as much as he used to back then. And that's probably because the league is maybe a bit different, but he creates the chances. He's exciting. I think he's the most exciting player we've had in the country. I can't even remember when last we had a player who really excited, maybe Bujabu Pule and all that for a while, but this kid was incredible. I also agree with his nomination for this award.
Let's move on to the next one, the third man on the list, Keletso Mahalwa from
Sekhukhune United. Yeah, I think that's like sort of a nomination out of left field. Most people would not have seen that coming. But look, it's players. So if you are nominated by your fellow players, because we play against you, so how it works is each club gets to nominate they're given 30 votes. So you give your 30 players and each one gets to nominate. So for this young man, I mean, Keletso is not that young, but for Keletso to make it, talks to, so another thing, you can't vote for your teammate. So a Chiefs players vote for everybody else, all of the, I don't know how, what's that other club that got kicked out? Royal AM probably doesn't count. So you vote for from the other 14 clubs. So the fact that Keletso made it talks to, and he played well. Sekhukhune United, remember, finished just outside the top 3. They were 4th on the league, and he was key to their them doing as well as they have. So Keletso was, when he played at Sundowns, a lot of us expected a lot out of him. He did very well. Pitso loved him when he played for Sundowns. This year he was colossal for he scored goals. I watched quite a few of their matches. I think the challenge with clubs like Sekhukhune and all that is, South Africa, we see the big ones, and on TV a lot of times it's what people watch, and that's what happens.
We forget about the smaller
clubs. But the fact that he is there talks to the fact that I think also the nomination process is very fair. So for all 15 clubs to vote and come up with it, that talks to just the impact he has made. So I think he is also worthy of it. Can he win it? I think, look, it's between those two, really. He's done well to get nominated, but I don't think he will win.
Let's move on to coach of the season, because these two categories at the top I want to save for last.
Yeah, sure.
But I think your discussion around the players was important for us to have, to at least lay the foundation before we head on to the other categories. I want to move on to coach of the season. First up, we'll start off with Riviero. Jose Riviero from Orlando Pirates, the season that he's had. Then Miguel Cardoso, and then Steve Barker with Stellenbosch FC. Who do you believe should win this category?
So that's what? That's Betway Premiership of the season.
Yes.
Betway. So it's for
specifically the league. Because now some would argue that Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates has won trophies outside the PSL. But we are judging the Betway Premier. Can I make a disclaimer here? Yeah.
I sat on the panel that judged this award. And I'm not going to, I can't say who won. This will be announced later on. So I don't know how we've tackled that. I look at this and I'm like, Jose Riviero had a good season with Pirates. One of the things that was impressive is he was so brave to bring in all these young players. Pirates, Yombogazi, Yomhaunkota, yes, Rele had been there the season before. He brought Radio Pani. He was very brave in a season when a lot was expected of him. He pushed Sundowns. I still feel, had the season been proper as in everybody playing at the same time every weekend, where when you look at the league table, everybody says 7 matches played, 7 matches. We didn't have that. It was very inconsistent. Pirates themselves, I think, in a way, I wouldn't say they are to blame for it, but Pirates got off days when they should have played because they were going to play in the continent, whereas Sundowns just kept on playing.
Yeah.
And what it did was it hamstrung Orlando Pirates, because now you're playing catch-up continuously.
Yes.
Because Sundowns are winning, you have to play catch-up. So I think had the season been consistent, we would have had a much, much closer competition, and Riviero would probably have done better than he did in terms of that. With Miguel Cardoso, my thing is, he came into Sundowns 7 matches into the season.
Yeah.
Sundowns they were already top of the table. He found a moving car. All he had to do is just continue driving. He played. So here was the thing. Sundowns said we are letting go of Manqoba Mngqithi because he's not playing the Sundowns way. That's what they said. We're winning, but he's not playing the Sundowns. And I looked at what Miguel Cardoso did. He came in. Yeah, Sundowns looked okay, but I didn't see any huge improvement in terms of what Manqoba was doing. I didn't see the Sundowns way that everybody talks about. But The man comes in, he is new to South African football, continues and wins the league. I mean, I remember somebody was calculating the ratio and all that. He has a better goal-win ratio if you take away the 7, whatever. So he's done very well. You win the league, you've done very well. Steve Barker is incredible. Hey, a guy who every season loses his key players. Igram Reina's left. Adams left midway. He brings in youngsters from the Diski Challenge, and they continuously do well. So it's to finish third again with that kind of team that, you know, budgets wise, I'm not going to go there because they're Stellies. They probably have a proper budget, but they keep losing players, and they don't go and buy to replace. They don't say, oh, we've lost an experienced guy. They bring in the young kids. So for somebody to do what he's done, it's very commendable. So it's a very tight one. I think anybody who wins that, I wouldn't have issues with any of them winning. But
Can I challenge you a little bit and press you a little bit? Wouldn't it be easier for one to argue that the coach that wins the league is the coach that is deserving of coach of the season in the Betway Premiership?
I think, look, that's been a debate over the years. I've a lot of the years in the past I've sat in these panels and we would argue about that. Yet in the past there has been years. I remember Gavin Hunt coaching Black Leopards. They finished 4th in the league and he won coach of the year. And the reasoning there was, look, here's this guy coaching a club that has I think they'd just been promoted or very new in the PSL, and people were saying they have no resources, he's out there, no players. And somebody then argues, says, no, but you can't punish a guy who coaches Sundowns because a lot of people will say, no, everybody who coaches Sundowns must win. But a coach still has to do the job. Yes, they have the facility. So it's a difficult one. Hey, you are right. If you win the league, it means you are the best. Logic says that you've done the best, therefore. But there's all these dynamics. You have it all. You are, like I say, with Steve Barker, you're coaching a club where continuously you're losing. Every season you are rebuilding, yet you perform as well as he's done. So it's a tough one. Let's wait for the awards to be announced. But like I'm saying, I was there. I voted for who I voted for. But it's a panel and we discuss.
And you're not sharing that secret,
no,
Jake?
No. It will be announced on the 29th. 7 p.m. on SABC and Supersport. So
all right, thank you, Bra Jakes. Okay, playing it safe. Let's move on to goalkeeper of the season. Because of time, we'll start to move a little bit quicker through the nominations. In terms of goalkeeper of the season in the Betway Premiership, Ronman Williams is one would say a favorite, but Asipo Chain could possibly win it from Orlando Pirates.
And then who else is nominated? Elvis Chipezeze.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a... Ronwen had a good season. Ronwen had a fairly good season, I think. But he didn't play, look, in terms of percentages, I don't know. But I remember him being away, not playing a bit. Sipo Chai, I mean, he played for Pirates. Are you asking me who, if I was sitting there and voting?
I'm putting you on the spot.
I would say Sipo Chaine. I would vote Sipo Chaine if I was there. But I'm not part of that, and let's wait and see who wins it. But yeah, if you asked me to vote, Sipo Chaine would get my vote.
In terms of defender of the season, Grant Kekana, you've got Nkosinathi Sibisi from Orlando Pirates.
And who else? Thabo Moloisane from Stellies. Yeah, look, look, we've had a very good season. You know, it's beautiful lately to see South African football having defenders who play football. You know, I've always been a huge fan of OJ Mabizela, probably the best defender we've ever had. And there's you know, lately we see, you know, in the past defenders just kick you, hoof the ball forward, away. No, these boys can play it from behind. Grant Kekana had a good season with Sundowns. Nkosinathi Sibisi for me.
Nkosinathi Sibisi. Let's move on to young player of the season. Of course, Rele is the favorite here. You've got Khoza from Mamelodi Sun.
Khoza, yeah.
And then you've got Nkota, who recently is moving to
Saudi Arabia.
To Saudi.
Yeah, look, I like Nkota. I like the way he plays. I love that he comes in, scores. He's a solid player, and I'm not surprised that people have watched him. But Rele Mofokeng was the best young player this year. Exciting. He'll win that. He should win that. Rele Mofokeng.
Rele Mofokeng is your guy. Let's move back to the footballer of the season, because we have ran out of time.
Yeah, okay. So
Ribiero Costa, Rele Mofokeng, as well as
So if we are getting it right, and the football of the season is across all competitions, so think of it. So Keletso, for me, it's between these two. So Keletso is out; he'll be number 3. Lucas Ribeiro played in the MTN 8. MTN 8 Sundowns reached, which they were knocked out in the semis. Ribeiro. Let's think. Rele Mofokeng was in 2 cup finals. MTN 8, they won that. He took them to the Nedbank Cup final.
The comments are saying Ribiero deserves it, just to apply a little bit of pressure.
What, football of the season?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that. Is it there's football of the season, and there's Betway Premiership Player of the season. So Betway Premiership Player of the guys, this is tough. Eh?
Very tough.
It is. The best footballer this year, Lucas Ribeiro. Betway Premiership Footballer of the season. Lucas Ribeiro was the best player this year. But I'm saying Rele got Pirates to the Nedbank Cup final and the MTN 8 Cup final, and they finished runners-up to Sundowns. Sundowns were only in 1 cup final, isn't it? Culling knockout, which they lost. Pirates won 1,
yes.
Lost. Yeah, but MTN 8. Any one of those. Let's make it a tie.
Let's make it a tie. We can't make it a tie, but
no, we are not sitting on the fence.
We can't make it a tie.
Yeah, listen.
Let's get a definitive answer
from
Betway Premiership
footballer of the season. Okay, Lucas Ribeiro Costa.
Lucas Ribeiro Costa.
Yeah, by like this small margin.
By a percentage point. And Rele, you're giving him second place.
That's football. Yeah. Footballer of the season. You're talking about football of the big one, the main one.
Yes, football of the season.
That's what I'm saying. It's the one that's voted for by the coaches. So yeah, let's see. I'm not.
And then for player of the season,
the players are going to go to vote for Lucas Ribeiro Costa.
They won't vote for Rele.
No, they will. But I'm just saying the majority of votes will go. Listen, that guy is it's different. It's different class. Look, Rele is going to win MTN last man standing.
Yeah.
He's going to win Nedbank most promising player. He's going to win PSL player. So he'll win 3 awards, I think. And then the other 2, the big 2 will go to Lucas Ribeiro. Should go. I'm not a judge, but yeah, I think.
We have a question here,
Yeah.
and they're asking, why isn't Reyners a part of the conversation?
Yes, that's. I mean, in my show that's coming up, we are going to talk about that. I think it's this. So here's the how this thing works. The coaches. Let's with these 2. Let's explain how it works so people can understand. There's 15 coaches who all nominate, and each one nominates 3, 2, 1. Mm-hmm. So you put your number 2, your number 1, 2, 3, and the number 1 guy gets 3 points, the number 2 points, the 1 point. So then they tally those points, and out of that, the top 3 emerge.
Yes.
So it's very possible. In fact, I can bet you that there are coaches and players who have voted for Ikram Reyners. He just did not get enough points. That's what it is. I would have had Reyners, actually, personally, I would have had Reyners above Keletso Magalo. But I'm not part of that panel. But I think that's how it is. So I know that a lot of people, and this happens with awards. Every season we have people saying, oh, so-and-so was robbed, so-and-so. But I can tell you now, the process is very thorough. I sat in one of those panels, as I said, and you go in there, I give my votes, I give my 3, and I said, these are my 3. Everybody does that. We sit down there, and then we discuss, why do you say this? And I'll say this, and everybody does, and then we start going, no, but why did you think And sometimes some judges get persuaded to look at it and say, oh yeah, but you're right, I had missed that. Then we change and then they tally the votes. There's auditors in that particular room. We do that and the auditors check. So it's very thorough. In the past, I remember there was a year when this award was introduced, Footballer of the Season, and Teko Modise won it. And I think what took us by surprise was that we were used to Player of the Year, Player of the Year. And then out of the blue, we were sitting there, they gave the big award. I don't remember who won it. And then they said, oh, there's still another award. And they gave Teko Modise the Footballer of the Year award, the big one, this one. It was being introduced, but we were not told. And I remember I even wrote an article saying, they just wanted to give Teko the thing, and this whole thing, Pirates are being favored. But over the years, they've explained how it works. And I can tell you now, it's people who gave their views. Football is very subjective. You had me struggle to go. Yeah. So everyone is going to say, why so and so? But the reality is, it's what it is. The process is fair. Whether the best person has won, it's another thing. But the reality is, process was followed. People came in and coaches. These are coaches who've been coaching the whole season. They choose. The players themselves choose. And the rest of the awards, the PSL is going to release the names of everyone who sat on those panels. And as I told you, I was on one of the panels, the coach of the season panel. We debated. We did not agree on certain things. And the winner will come. Whether it's the one I voted for or not, that's another thing. But there was 5 of us. We discussed and we agreed. Eventually, we reached a consensus, voted. The votes were tallied, and the guy who won.
All right, Brad Jakes, feeling the pressure a little bit. Thank you so much for the explanation. Of course, the 29th of July is when we will find out who will be the player of the season. The conversation continues right here on Omni Audio Africa. We saw you guys interacting on our social media platforms. Thank you so much for joining us. Romy Titus will be back with you on Friday.